What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Lobola challenge. This should be coming out on the right day, which is Friday. What's Friday's date? I don't know what Friday's date is, but this should be coming out on Friday. I'm back on schedule. This week I've just been putting out the videos that were supposed to come the previous weeks, just as a means to try and catch up and get everyone up to date, such that there's not confusion as to how we went from one amount to the other. But truth be told, from a month-to-month basis, there really isn't that big of a jump. I guess the biggest jump or the significant jumps that you'll see is when we're moving, from example, from July to August to September. Those are the more important ones, but I still feel as though every week we sort of need to monitor how this account is going, because changes in the market happen all of the time. I mean, if you look at, for example, the Zara account from the first week compared to where we are now, it's a similar amount, but there have been changes in the market that have led to different things. Maybe rather on the USD account, it would be a better example in that the actual account value that it's on is actually slightly less than what it was, I think, on the first episode of the series, because Tesla was just doing so well that first week and it's sort of come back down, and we even added onto that account and it's still at the same dollar value. So that's another thing to consider, that the market is fluctuating. There'll be days when we're good, days when we're bad. I've been saying this a ton, but let's move on. Let's get into today's episode. So we're starting off today on our Zara account, and the total on the Zara account is 3,494 Rand 62 cents. Profit on that is 1,506 Rand 68 cents, which according to this is about 75% profit, which is good, which is really good. If we scroll down to look at our holdings, Capitec Bank is doing well. Actually, not even well. It's up by 0.23%, which is positive. I'd rather have something slightly in the green than be in the red at all, kind of like what First Rand Bank is doing here to us. First Rand currently is sitting at minus 5%, which we've lost 13 Rand so far on this position, which is fine. I keep saying we're in it for the long game, so I'm not too worried about that. Sasol Evergreen, we're sitting at 100 plus 100%, which means the total value. So yeah, our current value of this total thing is about 3,000 Rand. So that's where the bulk of our account actually is coming from. It's coming just from Sasol, because what's our total? About three and a half. So 3,000 from Sasol, and then the other 500 makes up the other two. So I'm pretty happy with this. I think we're doing quite well on this account. Let's quickly move it over to the USD account. USD account, we are sitting at $271.74. The profit that we're getting on that is $140.37, which according to this is a total profit position of 106%, which again, it's good, but keep in mind that at one point this total profit and loss percentage wise was sitting at almost about I think it was 170%. So there's some ground to be made up on this one. And I think it has to do with the ebbs and flows of Tesla, of how Tesla's going in and out of things. Because if we look at our account, JP Morgan is slightly green. It's up by about 8%, which has made us almost about $2. Hooray. And Microsoft is down by about 1.6%, which is virtually nothing. That's about 40 cents that we've lost. Tesla sitting at about 165%, which is $138 it's made us, which is great again as well. I'm really happy about that. Just an update on the Microsoft thing. I've not seen any news about what the progress is, and I know that they had a deadline on the TikTok deal. So Microsoft is something that we need to continue to look at carefully. But I think for today, what we're going to actually deal with, or the main thing we're going to be looking at today, will be First Rand. We need to see what's up with First Rand, analyze it, and then decide why we're in this trade and where we see it in the future. Last week, I sort of started looking at, what were we looking at? We looked at Capitec, I think. Or the other week, actually, we looked at Capitec. I think last week we dealt with Microsoft a bit. So I'm going to just take a look at our First Rand. I'm just going to show you the site that I use actually to analyze companies and stocks, particularly JSE ones. I use MoneyWeb. This by no means is an endorsement or a sponsorship of MoneyWeb. I just think MoneyWeb gives you the sort of information that you're looking for. If you were to try this on Yahoo Finance, you wouldn't get what you wanted. So we're looking for First Rand, which has the ticker symbol, what is it, FSR. Okay, and the first thing we're looking at, the price of First Rand is 38 Rand 53 cents, which, it's actually quite reasonable to think. To own a piece of a bank, you only need to have 40 Rand. Granted, that's a very small piece of a bank, because I think if we look at these issued shares, it's almost 5 billion shares. So there's a lot of them, but still, 40 Rand piece of the bank, you're good. You have a share in the bank's profits and so on and so forth. Anyway, let's get to it. Like we've said before, we don't really look at open, bid, close. Range is nice to look at, but we don't really care about this opening table over here, because we're not day trading this. We're in this for the long haul, and this is on the intraday graph. 7-day graph, let's see, we're down from the 7-day graph naturally. 30-day graph, again, we're down some more. 90-day graph, we're actually positive, but I think because 90 days from now is pretty much when we're deep within the whole corona thing. But you can see here, beginning of June, it was sitting at about $46, so there's another 8 Rand that's maybe sitting on the table within the last 6 months, not 6 months, 3 months. If we go to the 6-month table, yeah, we're really down, because beginning of March, we're sitting at about 60 Rand a share, which I think is great. That's the goal. That's where we're going to. We look at the yearly, again, still the same thing, ebbing and flowing between 60 Rand, getting closer to the 70 Rand range at when is this, more like November, end of November last year or November last year, getting close to that 70 Rand mark, which I think is great. Year to date, I think it's going to be similar. If we look at the last 3 years, you see, when is this? In 2018, it was chilling in the 70s, in the 70s, and just upping and downing, ebbing and flowing, ebbing and flowing. If we were Forex people, we'd be looking at how there's a sort of support and resistance going on, because it reaches a certain high, comes back down, goes back up to the high, comes back down. But, across maybe the last 2 years, it's been ebbing and flowing between like the low 60s and the high 70s. And that's pretty much the range we're expecting it in. So this dip that it's in now, we all know what was the cause of it. And that's essentially the target, to see this back up to about the 60, 70 Rand per share range, where once we've done that, I think we stand to gain a significant percentage. I mean, if from where we've bought it, we get it back up to about 60, I think we'll almost make about at least 30% back on just First Rand. And I think I actually want to add a bit more onto First Rand, because I personally believe in the business. I think it's a really good business. They're a bank. I think they have a microloan service attached to it. I know Rand Merchant Bank is actually under First Rand, but they also have a different fund. But that just has to do with the investment firm division of it, like the First Rand share, or rather the Rand Merchant Bank shares that you would buy, I think, is that you're buying in the investments, but the actual business and administration still falls under First Rand or the First Rand group. So that's just something that you need to take into consideration. So we've got market cap. Last time I actually defined market cap incorrectly, but I might have edited it out. Market cap is if you take the number of issued shares and you multiply it by the actual price. That is how you get the market capitalization. So you're taking essentially all of the money of everything and then putting it together. And we'll actually go over it one day when we look at the top 40 JSE companies per according to their market capitalization at the time. EPS, earnings per share, I still need to get a bit of clarity on that. But it's 508.49, which is good. PE ratio, it's that 7.42, which is under 30, which is great. I think maybe what I need to do is not even under 30, under 10 is what I need to do. I need to find a company that has a high PE ratio, just so you can see that maybe a company like that is maybe not the best time to buy. Maybe you just need to wait to get that PE ratio being a bit better. Dividend yield, this is one of the reasons why I really want to add more into this. It is 7.9%. So you're getting back almost about 8% of what you've put in just on the dividends, which I think is really good. 8% back is really good. So that actual amount is 1 Rand 47. And that was last declared in March, which is great. So it means even through all of this, they're still giving out their dividend, even though this was kind of before the serious pandemic things happened. If we scroll down here to the latest news, there's nothing specifically that's about them, just general things about the banks and all of that. But yeah, that is pretty much that on First Rand. Our target, like I said, anywhere from 60 Rand to about 70, 75 Rand if we're really lucky. That's where we're looking to have First Rand at the end of these 2 years. Another thing that maybe we need to discuss is whether we sell something once we've reached our specific target, because in reality, if we look at 5 years, it's never been above. I think the highest I can get here is 76 Rand per share. So, when we get to maybe about 60, 65, maybe start thinking about selling out some of our position and, finding a low point. That's a bit trickier as well, because the lowest I can find in the last 5 years is in 2015 when it was at $35, 35 Rand. So I'm used to working with dollars. And yeah, it's been there and we're in that range. So is this the bottom of First Rand, or is First Rand going to go lower? Because if it does go lower, we're really going to start to go hard on First Rand, because First Rand will recover from this. So I think this is our one to watch. Next month, we're probably going to add more onto First Rand, just because I think it really will get back to its actual level. And yeah, that's sort of my sentiment on First Rand. And now just to give you an overview on the account, this is a spreadsheet now that I've made literally just a second ago, just to try and make sense of everything so that everyone can see more or less what we're dealing with on this account. So we're going to look at this week, which is the week of the 10th of August. So far we've contributed 4,500 Rand to this account. So that's those 500 Rands every month. And our total account value, according to the platform, is 8,310 Rand 42 cents. The total profit on that is about 3,810 Rand. So which according to this is about an 84% profit, which is good. We're within the first 6 months already. We're getting close to that 100% mark. The goal is just to maintain and actually improve on this, so we get up to that 200%. From last week, we've actually just come up by about 0.25%, and the actual account has made about 11 Rand 46 cents in the past week, which again is not great. But if you come on over to our USD summary, you'll see it's because our USD value has actually gone down by about $11, which is not a small amount of money, but especially when you're converting it back into rands. So that's part of the reason why we're not doing so well there. But at least on the rand side, we've actually made another 214 Rand. So that's pretty much how the account is sitting and how it's balanced itself. So yeah, we just wanted to go over what is going on with our account, how the market is looking. Currently, I think things are a bit quiet. People are slowly preparing for the next few quarters to see what's going to happen. And really, if things are improving as it seems, every time when the president comes out or the minister comes out and says, the stats are improving, these are all positive signs to say that life is slowly but surely going back to the way it's supposed to be. And I mean, you go to almost any place and you see people are pretty much living their lives as they were before, with a few exceptions that people can't Zol and all of those things. But I think things are finally looking up, things are finally coming back, and this is the time to buy. This is the time. Like I said before, things were on a discount before, but now things are really in a sweet spot. So if I was you, find that 500 Rand that you need to start this thing and just get into it. And with that being said, I made a mistake on the last two videos with regards to the giveaways that we're doing. That end of September, if we hit 5,000 subscribers, I will give 5,000 Rand of my own money to someone to start their own investment account. But then again, if it so happens that we get there in this short period of time, because you literally have about 2 months to get to 5,000 subs. I'll actually increase it and say I'll give 2 people 5,000 Rand each if they are able to get us to 5,000 subs by the end of September. It's going to be tricky, but I know that it's possible. So just, yeah, keep at it. And yeah, I hope people are starting on the investment journey. You know, I'd ask people to speak in the description and say how things are going for them, what companies are they excited in or looking at, because that's also another thing that I'd like to start, where we start out a community where we speak to each other about these things, where we help each other out, choose stocks, choose companies, give reasons why a company we think is good or bad, and see how we can make money. Because like I've been saying, there's money to be made, there's wealth to be built here. So please get involved.
No. Please take your seat, honorable member of the EFF.
But we are not answered.
Take your seat. I am presiding.
We want the money.